So what makes you a high value man in the Philippines? In America, they want a man that makes six figures, um, six pack abs, 6 foot tall, and you must, in 2023, be realistic. You need to make much more than six figures. If you're making $100,000 a year in a Los Angeles or New York City, you are miles from a high value man, realistically. With the exception if you're like an older guy that owns a $3 million house or something, you're nowhere near a high value man. In a major city, I would say you would want to be in the 250, 300 range. Year after year, that compounding, you could be considered high value. In an Alabama or a Kentucky or somewhere nobody wants to live, perhaps 120, 150, you're bordering on a high value man. If you can do that year after year after year, you have zero debt, you're a homeowner, things like that. But there's also physical things. You need to be 6 foot minimum. A lot of women in the United States are 5'8", 5'9", and they like to wear 3-inch heels. So a woman never, ever, ever wants to be looking down at her man. And that goes for all aspects of life. She doesn't want to look down at you financially. She doesn't want to physically look down at you. Women generally want men that are taller than them, stronger than them, bigger than them, smarter than them, and last but not least, the most important one, earn more money than them. Women do not date across, women do not date down. They don't do this long term. Now, if you're a supermodel, can you date a woman that makes more money than you short term? Certainly. Will a woman just be your sugar mama forever if she has a certain beauty aesthetic? No chance in hell. I have dated women in America that make 10 times the money that I make or made. I probably was making 50 grand a year, and I've dated women that made well over $500,000 a year. But did that last forever? And because they were beautiful women that were attorneys or business owners and stuff, did we get married? Obviously not. Can that go for up to about 2 years usually? Yeah, it can. But in general, even professionals sort of lean towards bad boys sometimes, especially in like an LA or a, Miami or a New York or something. But at the end of the day, women date up, they don't date down or across, and the bar of entry is extremely high. They want you to be over 6 inches in the pants. I won't go into detail on that. 6'6", 6 foot tall, 6-pack abs, over 6 inches in the pants, well over six figures, and then you are a high value man. You also need to have the respect and admiration of other high value men. If you do not have that, you are not a high value man. That is just the rules of being a high value man. Now, a lot of men are coming to Southeast Asia to sort of escape these ridiculous standards that sometimes these women with 4 kids have, and these women that are way past their prime, or that are a 4 that need a 7 that meet these criteria. So a lot of men are going to South America, they're going to Philippines, they're going to Thailand, they're going to Southeast Asia and South America. That's the spots. So what makes you a high value man in the Philippines? Well, as a guy that's lived here for over a year and would consider myself certainly a high value man here, there's going to be a few different things, but the bar of entry is way, way, way lower. And it probably will shock you if you listen till the end. So basically, a high value man in Southeast Asia, in my opinion, especially a Philippines, which is a relatively less fortunate country with the exception of areas like the area that I'm in, you need to make, I would say, $3,000 a month every single month in order to be, a high value man or bordering on a high value man here. So if you have a digital nomad gig, if you just got $1 million, I guess there's your $3,000 a month. Anything above that, you are certainly a high value man, because your money will stretch so much further. Like the condo I'm sitting in, for instance, this would be the condo of a high value man. This condo is 45,000 pesos. That's going to be about $791 last time I checked the money conversion. This condo in a major city in America would run you $5,000 to $10,000. So you're looking at a 10x perhaps for this condo. And women like men that can put them into comfortable surroundings that are above their surroundings. So that's going to be a metric of a high value man. Is a high value man going to live in a boarding house? Is a high value man going to live in a low end building that's 10,000 pesos? Probably not. So right there, if you're making $36,000 a year, let's just say 40 a year with your digital nomad hustle, you are definitely a high value man in the Philippines, to be exact. Now, on top of that, height. Height is not going to be a make or break thing like it is in America. If you are under 5'9" in America, you could be the buffest guy with the most money and a big truck to try to make up for it and stuff. But in the end, you are basically a guy that's too short to date 90% of the population. Now in the Philippines, it's going to be much different. You could come here at like 5'5" to 5'7", and you will be shocked when you meet girls online and they're 4'9". So you're a giant at 5'5", which is going to be quite the shocker to you, because at 5'5", you have zero options in America. Like 100% of women will not date you, basically. So the height barrier is, a solid 6 inches lower. You could literally be 5'4" and find a girlfriend out here. So there's another thing. So height, that I won't get into the bedroom stuff. You can draw your own conclusion there. And six-pack abs, not necessary here. Now, will that be to your advantage? And can you, have the admiration and eyes on you from all the women if you have six-pack abs? Sure you can. But it's not necessary. I see guys with big bellies with women, probably because of money. I see guys that have a dad bod that definitely don't have a six-pack abs, and they are winning in the Philippines. The Philippines is going to basically be, you are the same as you are in your home country, but if you're a complete social reject, that's 100 pounds overweight, but you're a white guy or a black guy or a foreigner, you will be able to come here and find a woman because of the money advantage. Even if you're making $1,800 a month, so you're away from a high value man, you're, a high value man to somebody. If a woman's family is making $300 a month, you're a high value man to her because you're making 6x what her entire family lives on. Some families live on $250, $300 a month. Some families do extremely well and make way more money than me. But that's just gonna, it all depends on where you start. Same thing in America. So basically what it comes down to is who you meet. If you meet a woman in this beautiful city that I'm in, yeah, you want to be around that 3,000 plus mark. If you meet a woman that lives in Negros and you're living in Dumaguete, you can play big shot with $1,200 to $1,800 if you know how to stretch your money or you got a little savings or whatever. It just depends on where you are. But if you are a suave guy that knows how to talk to women and you were doing well in the United States, but you just want more options or you just want to travel, you will do extremely well in the Philippines. But you must be very careful to not disrespect or not to lie or promise marriage or things of that nature. And you should also be very careful moving a woman in from a lower standard of living to a higher standard of living. They have rights. You can't just change the locks and decide that you found a hotter woman. So generally, you're going to be in much better shape in Southeast Asia, and the high value man bar is going to be about 30% of what it was there. Your height won't matter. If you have gray hair, you won't be looked down at. As I've said before, if you're 5'5", full gray hair, and 55 years old, you will still not be invisible in the Philippines. In America, no one would ever dream of looking at you or giving you a chance. You can maybe find a girlfriend or something, if you get lucky or you got an award-winning personality, but for the most part, you are disqualified by every metric. Men tend to become invisible at about the age of 50. Really doesn't matter if you are in the gym 8 hours a day, whatever. If you don't have a supercar or you don't have social media presence, as in a huge YouTube, a huge Instagram, a huge TikTok, whatever, you will be literally invisible even to like the 55-year-old cashier at the Ralph's Market or whatever. Nobody sees you. You are completely invisible. So I guess the moral of this story is, if you can bring in $3,000 a month, even $2,000 a month, whatever, or more, or you have a big chunk of change and you're miserable in the West, you may want to come check out Southeast Asia and South America, as there could be a tremendous advantage for you, and you could live a happy life and not be lonely and not be stuck in the ridiculous standards that Snapchat and the Kardashians and OnlyFans created for you in the West. I go live every day at 9 a.m. Manila time. It's a nice little place you can come in and ask me a few questions if you're coming out here, or you have any questions about BGC or Boracay or Cebu or you know, you're doing a discovery trip, whatever. I also do consultations for $50 until the end of the year. I'll be raising the price at the end of the year, so that gives you plenty of time. That link for the PayPal is in my bio, or you can email me under my About section. It's my email. And like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and sana all to all the high value men that will be high value men, at least when they arrive in the Philly Willy. All right, guys.